Inside the watery trunk is the long fiber the factory is waiting for. Before the factory sees it, the fiber is washed free of dirt, sap, and field residue. End with the cleaned, wet. Compression made shipping possible, and expansion makes processing possible. If the core cannot hold its loft, it cannot hold much else. Single units become a household purchase. The factory disappears here, and the product's job begins. It looks gentle and almost weightless, but its journey is anything but soft. A small object carries a massive promise. One protects millions, and the other was once thrown away. Comfort begins with how a surface breathes. The real power is what vanishes before you can even see it. For most people, this is a quiet routine. For manufacturing, it is precision at scale. Good protection is often measured by what never interrupts your sleep. Some of the world's softest protection can begin in agricultural waste. This is not a niche object. It is a daily shield for everyday life. How does this become that? The fruit leaves first, and what remains is the stem most farms once discarded. It was bulky, messy, and often abandoned until industry learned what lived inside. Inside the watery trunk is the long fiber the factory is waiting for. This is not wood pulp and not plastic fluff. It is plant architecture. The coarse outer skin goes first, and the useful inner fiber stays. What looked like waste begins to behave like textile. Before the factory sees it, the fiber is washed free of dirt, sap, and field residue. End with the cleaned, wet. Nature gives the first drying, and industry takes over after that. Loose fiber becomes freight the moment it is compressed. From post-harvest farms to a giant American production floor, the stem enters its second life. Now the waste becomes inventory. Too wet and the line slows. Too dry and the fiber loses character. Compression made shipping possible, and expansion makes processing possible. The factory's first job is to give every strand room to breathe. Cleanliness here is mechanical, visible, and relentless. In this wash removes what the field leaves behind. Another rinse removes another layer of harshness. Before it can touch skin, the fiber must pass through a stricter standard than the farm ever knew. Water helped unlock the fiber, and now the excess has to go. This is where moisture stops being helpful and becomes the enemy. Too much heat can damage the structure, and too little leaves weakness behind. Before refinement, the fiber has to stabilize. Long strands are useful in the field, and controlled lengths are useful in manufacturing. Here, the bundles are broken down further to expose the absorbent surfaces inside. Not every particle deserves to become the final product. Liquid freedom becomes shape. The factory has stopped handling loose fiber and is now building a body. This cure locks the web into a workable state. This is the moment density turns into absorbency. If the core cannot hold its loft, it cannot hold much else.
Now the absorbent heart is portioned one future pad at a time.
Too loose and it shifts, too tight and it drinks slower. The layer you feel first arrives only after the core is ready beneath it. Protection is always a partnership between what absorbs and what refuses to let go. Tiny lines of glue keep a fast-moving product from falling apart. This is the first moment it truly becomes a pad. The shape you recognize is born in a fraction of a second. If the edges fail, comfort fails with them. The surface is guided, so liquid will not wander where it should not. Even the unseen side has to perform flawlessly later. From performance shape to portable shape in one clean motion. A sanitary product is only finished when hygiene travels with it. Thousands of sealed units an hour each, carrying the same expectation. The line does not trust one clean step. It builds layers of confidence. At this speed, human eyes are not enough. This is where marketing stops and material truth begins. Absorbing is one thing, and holding under pressure is another. A weak bond turns movement into failure. Every gram tells the factory whether the core is right or wrong. Even in a giant factory, trust still passes through human hands. Perfection is not assumed here. It is separated from everything that is not. Single units become a household purchase. The last protection layer is for storage, travel, and shelf life. After this, the product is ready to leave manufacturing and enter life. The pad is done, but the scrutiny is not. Discipline is maintained all the way to the end. Protection now scales from one person to whole regions. What began as wet stem fiber is now a freight-ready promise. This is where a personal product becomes a national supply chain. By morning, yesterday's waste is already on the road as today's necessity. The factory disappears here, and the product's job begins. After thousands of machines and miles of movement, it arrives in silence. Most people will never see the stem, the wash, the heat, or the test. They only feel the result.
Every frame in this video has been transformed through a multi-stage editing process. From the GIF conceptualization to VO3 generation, human creativity leads every step. This channel is dedicated to original AI craftsmanship and follows all 2026 YouTube monetization rules.